Welcome back, everybody, to River Ave Radio. My name is Ryan, and who do I got with me today?
I'm Kyle, as I was the last couple episodes as well. How you doing today, Ryan?
I'm doing good. We were having some technical issues before this, but it seems to be solved. So if you hear a faint buzzing in the background, that's my fault. I'm having some Wi-Fi issues today. Had to use a different computer, but we are happy to be back in front of the mic. It's been a slow off season, so it's been a little while. Kyle and I have been spending our time on the Fallout show instead of no, just kidding. Good show. You should watch it. But we are excited to be here. And before we get started, just want to say, no matter what platform you're watching, listening to this on, YouTube, Spotify, please consider dropping a follow, a like, a comment, just interact in any way, shape, or form. We're trying to get this off the ground, and the support we've been getting has been great so far, but we need to just keep it coming. So we will provide you with the content. All we ask in return is that you interact with it.
Let's, I think, just jump right into it then.
Yeah.
The point of this episode really is going to be talking about what the state of the roster is going into spring training in a couple weeks. It is possible that they'll make a couple small adds, which we'll get to at the end of the show, but in all likelihood, every major piece that's going to be a big part of the year is already on the team. So, looking at pitching, I think the big question mark going into the year is obviously going to be Garrett Cole. Cy Young Award winner in 2023. 2024 was kind of a weird year. He missed a lot of time. He came back. He pitched well in the playoffs, but I think he put up less than 2 B-WAR. It wasn't, by his standards, a great year. And then 2025, we were expecting big things from him, as we always do, and gets Tommy John, doesn't throw a single pitch the entire year. So, in 2026, are we supposed to expect elite Garrett Cole, good Garrett Cole, mid Garrett Cole, or somewhere in between? And to kind of get an idea of where we're actually going to end up with him, I looked at some comps of other elite pitchers that have gotten Tommy John at similar ages. So in the last decade, the real big two examples were DeGrom and Justin Verlander. So Verlander was 37 when he got Tommy John in 2020, I believe, and DeGrom more recently was 35. Cole at the time when he got his surgery was 34, so a bit younger, but relatively comparable ages. The year before Tommy John, Cole had a 3.4 ERA, that was in 2024, and a 3.7 FIP, so about the same, which is good, but by his standards, not amazing. Verlander, on the other hand, he was coming off a Cy Young Award in 2019 when he got his Tommy John. So obviously he was doing a bit better, but also he was a bit older, and his FIP at 3.3 was way higher than his ERA at 2.6. DeGrom, going into this, hadn't even pitched a full year in, I don't know, since 2021. It had been at least 2 full seasons since he'd been healthy. So, looking at that, you'd say, okay, what are we going to get out of Cole here? His velo was dropping even before these elbow concerns. Like in 2023 when he won the Cy Young, his average velo I think was around 97.5, dropped into the high 96s, then it got into the low 96s in 2025 before he got injured. So the range of outcomes from Tommy John nowadays really seems to be more varied than ever. Like we saw Sandy Alcantara come back last year after winning his Cy Young a couple of years ago and was just awful. He was on my fantasy team. I know that we had some fun times streaming him after I dropped him after his first 3 starts, but he was terrible. He got better towards the end of the year, but it shows you that you can come back from Tommy John and be really bad, even if you've been really good in the past. But good pitching has been kind of relatively age resistant in the last decade, or at least I believe it has been. Like, look at Verlander, DeGrom, Scherzer, even like Zach Greinke, Clayton Kershaw, all these old heads who are not obviously Cy Young candidates anymore, but still at high ages have been able to perform, and not only perform but get better in their old age, like with Verlander. Like Verlander's 2022 where he won the Cy Young was arguably better than his 2019 where he won the Cy Young, and he was a full 3 years older and coming off of Tommy John. So nobody is going to outwork Garrett Cole. Nobody is going to say that Garrett Cole is not trying to come back healthy. I think it's just going to be kind of a crapshoot whether or not he comes back and is elite right away.
So I think as you see I agree with everything you said. And I think people refer to 2025 as like the year of the pitch mix. Like everybody, all the good pitchers, or I'm sorry, was that maybe last year was the splitter?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So the pitch mix has become a lot more dominant and a lot more common with elite pitchers. Look at Max Fried. I mean, he just has an endless bag of pitches, and we're going to talk about him later. But Elmer Rodriguez is kind of the same thing, just like Carlos Legrand. I think the Yankees are starting to pick up on a lot of. They really like these deep mix guys, and if you look at, he didn't necessarily come back from Tommy John, but an interesting post-injury case study is actually Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon was a 2-pitch guy when we signed him. We signed Carlos Rodon to be a entirely different pitcher than the one that we got in the last few years and that we're probably going to see next year as well. Like, he has added elite off-speed stuff. And just looking at the difference between Garrett Cole's 2023 and 2024. So in 2023, he was throwing his four-seamer 53%, and in 2024, he was throwing it 45%. So that's an 8% decrease. Like, so, and that was, like we were saying before Tommy John, there were already some velocity problems with the elbow issues, but he's also adding in more pitches. It wasn't a lot. He used a sinker 1% of the time, and in a low amount of innings he was throwing. I don't know the exact number of times he threw it, but I guarantee you it's not a lot. But he's toying with it. He's throwing his cutter more often. In 2024, he threw his cutter 16% of the time. In 2023, he threw it 7% of the time. So he's toying with different stuff. And we were saying, like, nobody is more of a student of the game than Garrett Cole. Like, anyone who, I don't think you're going to come back and see, Garrett Cole in the 9th inning of the Astros start where he threw the complete game, going, 99 on the gun to get Yordan or whatever it was, I forget. But you're not going to see that anymore. I think what you're going to see is a completely different version of Garrett Cole, and it might be a bit of a rough year. I think, coming out of the gate, I'm not expecting much, but I think with someone like Garrett Cole at this point in his career, like, the regular season he's already proven that he's an elite regular season pitcher, one of the best all time. He's up there on the strikeout list, inning pitched, whatever. But I think at this point, the only thing you really need from him is a lockdown October. Like, if he's ready for October, I truly couldn't care less about his regular season. And if the Yankees are banking on Garrett Cole to be elite off the jump, that's not smart. I don't think that they are, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
We've seen a lot of different pitchers, not just old pitchers and elite pitchers, but I've heard throughout my time watching baseball that Tommy John is really one of the only opportunities that any pitcher has to fully rework their mechanics, their pitch mix, and everything like that. Like, Garrett Cole mid-season does not have the opportunity to try and learn some random new pitch or change how he throws one of his pitches drastically, because he needs to be going out there and performing every day. But coming off of Tommy John, he has a year and a half to really look at his mix, look what he's physically capable of, not just after his surgery, but at his age, with his diminished velocity, which would have diminished even if he hadn't exploded his elbow.
Right.
And I think that because of his insane work ethic, because he's so tapped into pitch development, pitch shapes, everything like that, I do have relatively high expectations for him, even coming out of the gate. I think that there might be some rust, obviously, because he just hasn't thrown in a year and a half, and I think that he's never had major surgery like this, as far as I know, and this is probably the longest he's gone without throwing a baseball since he was like 5 years old. Yeah. Like, this is a massive change in his life, but I think that, especially like you were saying, I think he'll be ready not even just by October, but I think even in just the second half. Yeah. We even saw with Alcantara, like, he was so awful in the first half of the year, like an 8.5 ERA or something, and he locked it down towards the back half of the year. And
by the trade deadline, he was he was putting up like exciting numbers.
He was good enough by the trade deadline to not be a negative asset and was rumored in trades, but I do think that Garrett Cole will be a productive member of the Yankees this year, and honestly, he really has to be, because we don't have a ton of pitching depth.
Yeah.
But that being said, we did just recently acquire Ryan Weathers from Miami.
Yes.
A guy that where it always goes back to fantasy with us. A guy that I picked up off fantasy and then he immediately got injured after being injured the whole year. He is 26 years old. He has 3 years of team control left. He's a fastball changeup slider guy. It's really a sweeper, but sweepers are sliders. He is pretty young, but his off-speed pitches are pretty good, actually. Usually you see with young arms that they got like one pitch developed, and it's usually their fastball. His off-speed pitches are actually more developed than his fastball. His fastball, he throws hard, usually around like 97 miles per hour average, which is very, very, very good. But movement isn't great, and he only throws a four-seamer. The thing is, with the Yankees, as you're well aware, we saw it with Max Fried last year where they just mega developed his sinker. We saw it with Cam Schlittler, and he has 3 different fastballs that all work amazingly. The Yankees love to develop tertiary fastballs, which are sinkers, cutters, two-seamers, everything like that. So I guarantee you that they will have Ryan Weathers coming into spring training throwing at least a sinker along with his four-seam fastball.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I mean, it's important to note that the Yankees are well known around the league at developing changeups as well. I know, again, speaking of Max Fried, like his changeup stuff plus, I believe, went from a below average pitch to a well above average. Like it was a significant, I don't know the exact number. I'm almost positive it was a 93 stuff plus in his last year with the Braves. But case in point, like this is already a really, really good changeup, and the Yankees are well known for. So this is kind of both of their, and we'll talk about the other one in a little bit, but both of their pitching depth additions this year are archetypes that they just love, right? Like guys with the ability to develop, like Kyle was saying, a tertiary fastball and really, really good off-speed stuff. He's got dirty off-speed pitches. And I think the main thing when we're talking about Ryan Weathers is not the stuff, because I think we both are confident. One, I think Ryan Weathers is a solid pitcher off the jump, but they're going to improve his ability so much more. But I think the main thing to worry about is health. He has not made many starts in the last few years. That's been that's really the big concern with Ryan Weathers. And it's interesting because the Yankees' biggest area of need for Ryan Weathers is the bookends of the year, where he's probably going to be needed to make a few starts between March, April, and May, and then we're really going to need him in October. But in the months in between, you can kind of just slot him wherever. You can put him in the bullpen, you can put him in the rotation to make spot starts wherever. But I think really this is going to be a good year for Ryan Weathers, because after the first few months where he's kind of holding down the back end of the rotation, you're going to just be able to perform without too much pressure and figure out what works and figure out what doesn't. And hopefully, like I said, by the time October rolls around and our rotation is hopefully Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Cam Schlittler walking into the playoffs, he's a very effective, maybe 7th or 8th inning guy to set up Bednar and Camilo Doval, who will also hopefully be firing on all cylinders at that point. Obviously, they're relying on hope, which at a certain point, you just need a certain level of things to go right. We've talked about this extensively. Roki Sasaki, injured all year. All of a sudden, he's just coming out. His fastball jumps up 7 miles per hour between 2 rehab starts. He's throwing gas out of the bullpen, locking down games. On the flip side of that, they traded for Tyler Glasnow in between 2023, the Dodgers traded for Tyler Glasnow in between 2023 and 2024. They banked on Tyler Glasnow to be ready for 2024's postseason, and he wasn't. Obviously, it ended up working out fine, but then he was ready for 2025, and he was electric in 2025. So it is kind of a give and take. He might be ready, but if he is ready, it's going to be exciting for the Yankees to watch in the postseason. And he kind of seems like a dog, just in non-analytical terms. I was watching one of his interviews, and he was on the Max Manus podcast, and he was talking about how much he has completely fallen in love with data. He loves pitching. He loves like every time he throws a bullpen or something. Like he said, he sends like his spin metrics to his dad or whatever, and he's getting his dad really into it. So I think it's very exciting to get like a true pitching nerd in the lab with Matt Blake. And he just seems open to learning what the Yankees are going to throw at him, and that's very exciting because I feel like there have maybe been some guys that are not so excited to be here in the last few years.
Yeah,
Closers
I think that
the Midwest.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Yeah. Do you know that Ryan Weathers hit a home run in his major league career? He has one home run.
Really?
He hit one home run in Miami, actually. Before
really?
He was on the Padres. He got traded to Miami. He hit one in Miami in 2021 when he was on the Padres. I watched the video.
He was drafted pretty high, right?
Yeah, he was the 7th overall pick.
Yeah.
In 2018.
So
he has pedigree.
Yeah.
He is only making $1.3 million this year, so he's very cheap. That's pretty much nothing in terms of starting pitching. We did give up a decent amount to get him. Dylan Lewis was the main prospect going back to Miami, and he's probably going to be pretty good. He just looks like he'll be an above-average outfield bat, defense, kind of whatever, but he'll be good. So you gave up something real to get him, but he will be a very important piece, as you're saying, probably in the bullpen. I think it'd be a great bullpen piece just because we don't have any high velocity lefties really. And like you said, he's gonna make a couple starts at the beginning of the year, then come postseason, let's say you have a full starting five, you add somebody at the trade deadline maybe as well. And now you have David Bednar throwing hard from the right side, and you have Ryan Weathers coming in, and he can throw 97 as a starter. He can probably hit 100 as a reliever.
Without a doubt.
So, very exciting. Hopefully he stays healthy. Injuries are kind of BS. Prior injury history doesn't always mean future injury history. No prior injury history doesn't mean you're going to not start tearing a muscle every 3 months.
He could come in here and make 30 starts, and, I mean, like, you have no idea what's going to happen. Like, at the end, and listen, knock on wood, please God, but, like, what happens if Garrett Cole is, like, a Shane McClanahan type thing, and he just he's not back? Like, Clark Schmidt, Carlos Rodon, any of them could suffer a setback that requires Ryan Weathers to have to be, and Ryan Weathers could be the healthiest guy in the rotation. Will Warren, who was like a workhorse last year, he could go out, throw 3 pitches, and his elbow could explode. Like, you never know what's going to happen with this kind of thing, and fingers crossed.
Yeah, the fingers were very, very, very crossed for those who are only listening.
Yeah.
And that's why you have depth. So I'm going to move on to probably the main minor league depth piece we have right now, which is Elmer Rodriguez, formerly known as Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. So if you see people calling him ERC, that's why you have the acronym, but now he's just ER, which has way less aura.
Okay, I was thinking about this. The emergency room could be a sick nickname.
Okay. Yeah, did you see the video of the guy giving JSN the worst nickname ever at a press conference? I gotta send it to you after. That nickname is okay, but we gotta be careful with nicknames here. Yeah. Just this guy's getting cooked harder than anyone I've ever seen in history. But anyway, Rodriguez is the 82nd ranked prospect in baseball by MLB Pipeline. He's consensus top 100 on pretty much any list you go look at.
Yeah.
He's 22. They acquired him in the Carlos Narvaez trade, I believe. When we sent Carlos Narvaez to the Red Sox, they sent him back.
Yep.
He's 6'3". If he made his debut tomorrow, Zips, which is just a projection system that Fangraphs has, projected him at around like a 4.5 ERA, which Zips is pretty negative on everybody. Like, they're just relatively conservative. But in the minors last year, he had a sub 2.5 ERA across 3 different levels. He started at high A ball, ended in AAA, only made 1 start there, but he's going to, assuming he doesn't make the major league roster, which we'll talk about in a minute, he will start in AAA. Sub 200 batting average against, great strikeout numbers, relatively low walk numbers. He had something like a 20% strikeout minus walk rate, and low home run numbers coming along with that. And as we've seen, pretty much every year there's at least one injury during spring training or going into spring training where they say, oh, actually he was hurt this whole time, we just didn't tell you, ha ha ha. So he's going to get real run during spring training. someone you should definitely be watching for, because if there's an open rotation spot, I would be surprised if it didn't go to him.
Yeah, I mean, if there's an open rotation slot, the only thing that I could see happening is Carlos. We got to figure out how to say his name. Carlos Lagrange or Lagrange coming out of camp and just, blowing it out of the water, which is possible. Carlos Lagrange has some of the highest stuff plus of any baseball pitching prospect across any level. So that is very possible, but Elmer Rodriguez seems to be the more complete product right now. If Elmer Rodriguez starts the year in AAA, it's exciting because there will be StatCast data available on him coming out of the year. There's not StatCast available in anything lower than AAA. People that know a lot more about minor league pitching than I do have been very excited about this since he was traded. I remember people were very upset that we got rid of Carlos Narvaez, who was maybe going to break the major league roster this year, and people who are very tapped in, like Ryan Garcia. I remember he was tweeting a lot about this is a huge acquisition, and it sucks to lose Narvaez, but this is going to be big for us one day, and the day is almost here. So I think it, like Kyle said, if there's an open rotation slot, it's more than likely going to him, and that's exciting. They're confident.
I just confirmed, by the way, it's Lagrange.
Okay, Lagrange. Carlos Lagrange, who we are also big fans of, by the way. I am at least. I don't know about you. Yeah, I've also... Ben Hess has been getting some love as of late.
They have a lot of decent little guys, but let's keep it focused on...
I'm excited for the last thing I want to say. I'm excited for the farm this year. I think in the last few years, there's been a lot of injuries and trades and stuff like that. I feel like this is the first time there's a lot of guys that are going to break out this year, and a bunch of fringe outside top 100 guys are gonna make the list. But back to ER.
I think that he's just someone that in spring training, last year it was Will Warren, and this year it's going to be him. You got to see how he does. Obviously, Will Warren was really incredible in spring training and then went on to be consistent, but obviously not elite during the regular season. So just remind everyone, spring training stats are fake. Temper your expectations if he comes out and looks like a frontline ace. But I'm excited to see what he does for us. Even if he doesn't come up at the beginning, he will be up at the major leagues, barring injury to him at some point this year.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Next up, we have Will Warren, who had a workhorse type year, which is probably the best type of word I can use to describe him, most favorable type of word. He wasn't great, but he was consistent. And there are some things in his game that I want to highlight because I am a Will Warren believer. He objectively had an elite fastball. It was 95th percentile in run value, just meaning it was basically the top 5% of all fastballs in the major leagues. His four-seamer ranked 15th among all four-seamers in baseball, behind number 14, Tarek Skubal, which is pretty good company to be in, if you're asking me.
He's all right.
And he had a plus sinker behind it to back that up, so he has two really great fastballs. The problem was everything else was just completely awful. His changeup was arguably the worst pitch in baseball. I think it literally had the second worst run value of any pitch in baseball this year, which, of course, is not very good.
What pitch did he throw to Vlad when he gave up the grand slam?
That was actually a fastball.
Really?
That was just a crazy swing. That was on the inside corner. But the other pitches being shit makes it so his fastball doesn't perform as well because Vladdy knows that the bases are loaded in the playoffs. Will Warren is not going to throw him his dog shit changeup. Obviously, he's going to chuck him a fastball, and he was ready for it. It was a good swing, first and foremost. It wasn't a bad pitch. That thing was right on the edge. But regardless, having a strong fastball gives you something to build on. If Will Warren was coasting with a 4.5 ERA with three mid pitches that just none of them excited me, I wouldn't be excited for Will Warren in general. But he's 26 years old. He has one elite pitch, which arguably is the most important one to have. You need a strong fastball to build your other stuff off of. And I just think that he can parlay that really good one pitch into at least not having the worst pitch in baseball as your main secondary. Bring that up to a bad pitch, and I think Will Warren goes from a 4.5 to maybe a high 3, or even better than that.
Which, listen, I mean, never knowing, we don't need him to be any better than a 4 or a 5. Like, if our 4 starter is as good as a quality 3 starter, then we're in a good spot. Like, again, the Yankees are not looking at April. They're looking at September. They're looking at October. And if everything goes right, you're looking at a rotation headlined by Max Fried. Garrett Cole is 2. Cam Schlittler or Carlos Rodon are 3 and 4. Ryan Weathers or Will Warren or Luis Gil is your 5. And whoever isn't goes to your bullpen. So you could potentially, if you're bringing up guys like Elmer Rodriguez and Carlos LaGrange, you could put them in the bullpen. You could put Will Warren with his elite fastball, his elite K9. I mean, for a while, I don't know if he ended this way, but for a while he was top 5 in K9, or strikeouts per 9 innings. And if you put them in the bullpen, you're going to find success. It's simple. If you put a pitcher in a situation where he has to throw less pitches, he's going to throw them harder, he's going to throw them better. And a guy like Will Warren, who was elite his first time through, good his second time through the order, and got shelled every time the leadoff hitter came through for a third time, eliminate those bottom 2 and just put him through the order once, that's very exciting. So, again, like, the Yankees are just looking towards what the end of the year is going to look like. And if everything goes the way that it should, we talk a lot about, like, not betting on hope and things like that, but it's hard not to, because you should expect someone like Garrett Cole to be good by that point in the year. You should expect someone like Max Fried to be rolling, and you should expect Cam Schlittler to have developed and taken the next step. Like, it's reasonable to expect these things. And so when you look at the potential state of the Yankees roster in September, that if that team looks the way it should, that team could go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. Without a doubt. That team could go toe-to-toe with anyone. That team could wipe the floor with anyone in the AL.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this, I was thinking about this the other day. This is maybe the first time, like, the Yankees have been piecing together a really good team for the last few years. They've built an elite offense. Objectively speaking, this offense is top of the league. They were the best in 2024. Everyone said they weren't going to be in 2025 when Soto left, and they got better after Soto left. So the offense is elite. The pitching, they've put together what could be an elite rotation, and it just hasn't happened because of health. Literally, 2023 and 2024, the Yankees rotation was supposed to be like one of the best rotations ever. You know, I remember that 2023. It was Cole, Rodon, Montes, whoever else. It was they did that.
Nestor.
Yeah, Nestor. Oh my God, Nestor. And so this is potentially the first time that the years of labor could all be showing up on the field at the same time. And so I'm with the Yankees there. I'm interested to see what that looks like.
Yeah. And lastly, we got Luis Gil. We talked a bunch about him in a previous episode, so I'm not going to go super, super deep into this, but if you look behind Ryan, you can see those holes in the wall, and that's what happened when I watched Luis Gil pitch in any meaningful game last year. His stuff plus for all 3 pitches went down, which isn't everything. It's not like they went down a ton. Like, they went down maybe like 5%. But his location was non-existent. He could not throw strikes. He was walking at least one person an inning, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. I think his walks per 9 were over 9 in most starts. He started throwing less hard on purpose to get it in the zone, supposedly, but it didn't work. He was still walking everybody, and he was just not throwing as hard. So this is a big prove year. Like, obviously, one Rookie of the Year. He has some pedigree. Like, he has juice in the tank. I have to believe that was not entirely fake. Like, there has to be something in there. But maybe there just isn't. It's kind of the opposite with Will Warren. Like, Will Warren wasn't great last year, and I have high hopes. Luis Gil wasn't great last year, and I'm not feeling great about him overall.
Yeah. I'm looking at Luis. This is actually pretty funny. His Luis Hill's location. Guess Luis Hill's location plus for his fastball.
0.
100.
It's average.
Yeah, but his overall location plus is 93 because his location plus on his slider is 81. So
Yeah.
Stop throwing the slider.
Well, he can't stop throwing the slider.
No,
Then he has one pitch, and it's
no.
bad.
That was a joke. You should not stop. You should learn how to throw the slider. Yeah, it's. I don't really know. Luis Hill's never really been anyone that like the expected numbers are giving you real hope. Like 2025, his savant page is pretty blue, and 2025 or 2024, like he was just kind of like he was really good in the first half, not so good in the second half, but then he kind of rebounded in the second half of the second half. I don't know.
Second half of the second half, classic.
Yeah, to be entirely honest, I was not expecting to have to talk about Luis Hill. I fully thought he was going to be traded for someone. And
we don't have any depth.
Like the way that I don't even think the Yankees really believe in him. Like you ever listen to Matt Blake talk about him in like interviews and stuff? He's kind of we'll see what happens. We don't know which one was the real Luis Hill. It's a lot of that, and that's pretty much encapsulates how I feel about Luis Hill.
For our sake, I hope he goes back to being good. That's all. I think we could leave it there.
I think we could leave it there too. All right, that just about covers the pitching. Or the starting pitching at least. We've talked about Cam Schlittler a lot on other episodes. Max Fried. He's gonna be elite, and everybody else, that's kind of the state of things. But moving on to the offense, unless you have anything else.
No. Rodon, you just didn't mention Rodon.
Rodon,
Schlittler, and Fried we're just expecting are going to be good. And obviously Schlittler is kind of a question mark just because he's a rookie, or he was a rookie. But high expectations going forward.
Yeah. Also, sorry if anyone who's watching, my lighting is like terrible right now. My Wi-Fi is absolutely awful, and I have to sit downstairs right in front of my window, so I'm getting blinded right now. But sorry about that. For those of you who are listening on Spotify, don't worry about it. So moving on to the offense. The Yankees big, and this has been from the jump, they have told everyone plainly, this is our big offseason acquisition, which, to be honest, I thought was a little bit of a smokescreen, but I was wrong. I will happily sit here and admit it. So, Cody Bellinger is back on a 5-year deal, just around $160 million. I am very happy with the contract. I don't know how you feel.
I'm happy mostly. I think that the luxury tax hit is crazy. Did you see the stuff where they're paying
yes.
$100 million this year for Cody Bellinger, basically?
Yeah.
But that's not my money. I don't care. I'm glad they have him back. I don't really think that it'll hamper them long term. Obviously they're done spending this year. They're not going after. It's really just Framber Valdez is the only actual person left on the market that I would care about.
Did you see the Jays might get him?
Might. I don't know what's up with him. He's at a really weird free agency.
Yeah.
But it's looking good. He has opt-outs, and it's kind of front-loaded, which I do like. We're not going to be paying him $33 million a year when he's 38 and probably stinking it up. So overall, he pulls the ball. He plays good defense. He seems like a nice guy. People seem to like him in the clubhouse. What's not to like?
Yeah. I for a while, you play the Kyle Tucker game, and I think once that dream was gone, I let myself get back into bringing Cody Bellinger back. And you know what? He had a ton of sick moments this year. The grand slam against the Mets was awesome. The 3-home-run game against the Cubs was awesome. The double play against Soto, awesome. He's just had a lot of cool Yankee moments. And please just hit in the postseason. Please. That's all I really need. But in all seriousness, the as Kyle was saying, the swing profile kind of makes up for the deficiencies in the batted ball data. We've talked a lot about that. He has slow bat speed, not a lot of hard. He doesn't hit the ball very hard, but he hits it the right way. He has elite pull rates. He has elite launch angle sweet spot and squared up rates, so he's hitting the ball at the right angle, at the right time, at the right place on the bat. And most importantly, he has a 24.7 pull air rate, which is elite. Obviously, that is going to, as a left-handed hitter with the short porch and right, that's going to make him a bit of a short porch merchant. But it's a good thing he's playing 81 of his home games at Yankee Stadium every year for the next 5 years. So I think, honestly, it's a good thing. His batted ball profile gives me more hope that he's going to be good for the remainder of his contract, because unless he just forgets how to hit a baseball, his success isn't power related, Judge, when Judge starts to swing the bat slower, hit the ball less hard. Well, I guess Judge is a student of the game, so it's Stanton, right? With Stanton, he hits the ball less hard. He doesn't have as much success. Had his best year as a Yankee last year, but it's still not what he used to be. But you're not reliant on things that disappear with age when you have a swing profile like Bellinger's. So assuming he just keeps pulling the ball, should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, we saw with Eugenio Suarez, all these pull fly ball in the air, Cal Raleigh last year, all these people that pull the fly ball in the air, they always will outperform their expected stats, because expected stats, wow, that's kind of a tongue twister when you say it pretty quick. Expected stats, they will always outperform them, because these types of things like xWOBA don't take into account the angle in which the ball is hit. If you hit a ball 110 miles an hour at a 30-degree launch angle to dead center, xWOBA thinks it's exactly the same as if you hit it directly down the line. And obviously, you do that in Yankee Stadium, it's an out to center field, it's a home run 10 rows back in the short porch.
Yep.
So it does give me some hope that he won't regress quickly, at least. I think, obviously, by the time he's old, he won't be great. By the end of this contract, he'll be 35, 36. I'm not expecting much in those years. I'm really not expecting him to opt out. I'd be deeply, deeply shocked if he opts out after year 2 or 3, which is when he has him.
I think there would need to be a serious, drastic change in his batted ball data for that to happen, because that's the only way he's going to get significantly better. He's already pulling the ball at elite rates, can't do that anymore, can't play any more games at Yankee Stadium. I really can't see him opting out either. And yeah, I'm happy he's back. It would have been a problem if he had gone to the Mets or something like that, and we had to trade.
He just would have had kind of a bad outfield. We're gonna get to Jason Dominguez in a little bit, but we have the Belly Trent Judge outfield, which was one of the best outfields, if not the best outfield offensively in baseball, running it back one more year, and they're all, as far as we know, gonna be as good as they were last year, or maybe even better. You never know.
Yeah, who knows? But moving on the subject of xWOBA not accounting for spray angle, this is someone that we've talked about a lot, but this is a new point that I just thought of the other day, and I want to use my soapbox to bring it up. Ben Rice, his xWOBA was elite. It was the 6th highest in baseball. And as we just said, it does not account for the direction at which you're pulling the ball. So Ben Rice pulled the ball at the 25th highest rate in baseball, and his pull air percentage was 25.2, which is actually more than Bellinger's. So he was pulling the ball in the air at a higher rate than Bellinger, and his xWOBA was still however much higher. So his xWOBA, which was elite, was not accounting for the elite way in which he hits the ball. I can't say enough about Ben Rice, because this isn't, and I've said this before, it's not Joey Gallo, where you're, sending out a guy who's whiffing at every other pitch that he's not hitting out of the park. He's making good swing decisions. Actually, I'll circle back to that. He's making good swing decisions. He's hitting the piss out of the ball every single time. If he hits it in the ground, line drive, in the air, he's hitting it hard. And and he swings the bat fast. He pulls the ball in the air. This is an elite hitter anywhere, but especially in a ballpark like Yankee Stadium. The fact that he didn't hit 30 home runs last year is a miracle. And not even playing 81 games, they played like 88 games at Yankee Stadium because they played at Steinbrenner. Just thinking about Caballero robbing him at Steinbrenner made me think of that. But anyways, there's been a lot of talk about Ben Rice's splits against lefties, and he actually had like similar batted ball data against lefties. He had low BABIP, like high, and he hit the ball a little less hard, but it wasn't anything super significant. But his contact rates were much worse against lefties. He had a 208 batting average against lefties versus a 269 against righties. He had a 0.3 walks per strikeout ratio. And a 0.6 walks per strikeout ratio against righties. So that's almost double his contact rate against lefties he's making against righties. Sorry. This sun is absolutely blinding me right now. If you're watching on video, you can... Anyways.
This is crazy looking.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube and subscribe and then make fun of how Ryan looks.
Go to YouTube and subscribe and make fun of how I look. And he also strikes out significantly more. He strikes out about 28% of the time against lefties and about 18% of the time against righties. Against 17% of the time against righties. So, the issue against lefties is contact, not batted ball data. So I think that's honestly good because that's easier to fix than, telling him to hit the ball harder. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do in the lab. And honestly, like even if he doesn't get that much better against lefties, he still put up a 105 WRC plus. Like for how elite he was against righties and how much better he's probably going to get being fine against lefties, you can take that,
Yeah, you could see in the Blue Jays series him getting kind of embarrassed by lefties, especially splitters in general. Mm-hmm. And I think that this was his first full year in the big leagues. He's already so good. He was already above average against lefties in general, not just to consider his overall skills. I think that we all agree it's not a hot take at this point. Everyone's talking about Ben Rice, but we're both extremely excited. It's really only up from here, I think.
We're more excited than you.
Yes. We are.
But in all seriousness, like I do think, like everyone's, like you said, Ben Rice has totally hit the mainstream now, and everyone's very excited about him. I don't think people are excited enough. Like I don't think people that know a lot about Ben Rice are excited enough about Ben Rice. But I'm sure we will talk about him plenty from here on out. So, moving on.
Let's talk about the shortstop debate real quick. Yes. It's basically we got Caballero and we got Volpe.
I actually think, and I tried to pull the stats on this, but I just got way too frustrated trying to use the splits tool and figuring out like when Volpe was out. So I tried to figure out Volpe's numbers when he had rest and when he didn't. Because there's a theory, if you're on Yankees Twitter, you've almost certainly seen it, that Volpe needs rest, essentially. His body cannot hold up playing the amount of games that he's played. He's not a big guy. He's like 5'10". I'm sure he's under 200 pounds. He's a scrawny dude. Like
Come on. I'm not saying the theory's BS, but like you're a professional baseball player, man. Like,
dude, he's tiny.
It's been 3 years. Lock the fuck in.
I agree, but like, okay, listen, I agree, and I think I'm just working under the assumption of you got it. Like the Volpe that we were promised is never coming.
Yeah,
you got to find the best solution. Like you got to put your best foot forward. And I'm not saying you, but like everybody who's sitting here and being like, well, why can't he just be what we were that's gone. Let go of that dream. Like Volpe, who whatever. The Volpe that you should be hoping and praying for every night is like an average hitter with the defense that he gave you in 23 and 24. That is probably his ceiling at this point.
Yeah.
And God damn, that is so bright. Like every time I lean forward, it's like throwing me up. If the theory about his rest, because whatever, like, so one of two things needs to happen. They need to play Caballero and rest Volpe, or they need to tell Volpe to swing the bat slower. or
They're
something.
gonna tell him to swing the bat slower. Like he's just. I hate doing this. I think this is the only person I've ever thought to criticize for this. But is he trying half the time? Like some of these mechanical mistakes that he's making are just absurd. Like he's so good for the first half of the year, and I understand there's the shoulder injury. This could entirely be explained by having a torn labrum the whole year, which we have no idea how much that was affecting him.
Yeah.
I like want to believe that it wasn't affecting him that much. Like he can't have been that valuable that they needed him playing every day when he was one of the worst players in baseball, if not the worst hitter in baseball, when they knew that his shoulder was exploded.
Yeah.
But like a lot of these mechanical stuff they watch, like you see him just flying open every single swing. Like there's no way that the hitting coach, which led the rest of the Yankees to being the best offense in baseball, is not seeing that. Like, can you not just figure that shit out at some point? Like I understand a lot of this is frustration because he hasn't lived up to what we were promised, and you're completely correct that we as objective fans should be able to just let go of that and say we got to work with what we have. But at a certain point, like in the past has shown the ability to change his swing and become so good. Like that's how he rose up through the minors so quickly. He wasn't a top prospect until he was basically a top 10 prospect. He went from unranked to top 10 in the span of like 1 year because of some pretty big adjustments he's made. And he just has not shown the ability, in my eyes, or the willingness to make these adjustments at the big league level. And whether that's injury related or work ethic related, like again, I don't think I've ever said this about anyone else, but I just don't see another option at this point. Like I refuse to believe that the talent that brought him through the minors just never existed in the first place.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't know. I think like it just gets progressively worse as like when he's in a slump, like it starts bad and it gets worse. Like I remember that like in like the middle of the year, pitchers were just bullying him. High fastball, high fastball, high fastball, and he was just swinging at every single one, like non-stop. And it was just like, dude, are you not ashamed? Like, stop swinging. It's just like when he like gets in his head, it's clearly mental. Like I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know if it's clearly mental. It seems mental sometimes because like when it gets bad, it gets worse. So much worse before it gets better.
Yeah, and like at a certain point, I understand that if you were like a rookie, if this was year one, even if this was year two, I'd say it's hard. Being a major leaguer, playing any sport is really hard. Like you screw up. I remember playing Little League and I would screw up and I'd feel like shit for the whole day. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine what that feels like as a big leaguer, but after 3 years, you just got to figure something out. And if you can't make that adjustment, if like maybe he'd be better off in another market. Not that he has any trade value at this point in his career, but like you just got to cut bait at a certain point. This is definitely the last year in my mind of giving Volpe a chance. Like I would non-tender him after this year if he's what he is.
I want to say this is the last year he's cheap, but he's not even cheap this year. Like he's making more than $1 million.
I'll take a look.
I know I remember seeing his ARB salary and I was like,
yeah, he's getting $3.5 million this year.
Dude, what? Yeah. Like if he does what he's done the last few years, if his defense is bad, you got to cut bait mid-season. Like if the offense is bad and the defense doesn't rebound, it's done. The experiment is over. Like if his defense, this shit just makes me so heated. I can't. Like if Volpe is playing balls on hops and like if he's still playing like he has a torn labrum, get him off the field because it's mental.
Yeah.
And Caballero, Lord willing, is gonna hit average and give you good defense. And like, I'm sorry, but the Yankees can't be a championship team and have a hole at shortstop. What are we doing?
Wow, you broke your mic there.
Like, I'm sorry. I can't. The Dodgers are going to three-peat. And the Yankees' legacy is going to be gone. That's the last thing that we have.
You're so red.
The last thing that we have.
Become more pasty. Become more pasty.
The last thing that we have right now is the three-peat. The evil empire is gone. It's destroyed. The last team, your legacy as the last team to repeat is gone. The only thing that you have now is a three-peat. And guess what? That's probably gone too. Unless everybody locks in. I can't do this.
You're going to cry, bro.
Dude, no, because I am. Like,
we have real competition this year. I'm cutting you off.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a moment to cool down.
Yeah.
We have real shortstop competition this year. Caballero's been working at driveline. He does offer flexibility on the bench, and I think he'd make a great bench piece if we had an actual shortstop on the roster. He steals so many bases, and he's such a great pinch runner. He can come in, he can play the outfield. He was actually a good outfielder last year. I know Yankees fans' opinions on him as an outfielder are completely tainted by the fact that his first game as a Yankee made that error in the Marlins series. But he's objectively not a bad outfielder. He could play pretty much any infield position, basically except for catcher. So,
yeah.
And he's going to get at least a month of run. I know they're saying that Volpe might come back early. Take your time, man. No.
You're good.
I'll see you in June. Don't worry about it. Take all the spring training off. Just hang out for a little while.
Usually his hot streak is the All-Star break. Why not wait?
Just start there.
Just come back. Just take your time, man.
The other depth piece we have to talk about is Oswaldo Cabrera. He was out for pretty much the whole year with a broken ankle on that awful play in Seattle. His role is going to be kind of interesting. I think he's going to have basically the Caballero role before Volpe gets back, where he can play outfield, infield, shortstop, anything like that.
Which I think that's where his value. That's where his value comes from. Like he wouldn't be as good of a bench piece if he was exclusively a third baseman or a first baseman or whatever.
He'd be just bad.
Yeah. Essentially, you can put him anywhere, and it sucks to lose Cabby as a bench piece, but if Volpe, I just can't do it again. Simple.
Once Volpe comes back, let's say Volpe is hitting all right and he's playing all right defense. Does Cabrera get traded? I think is the interesting question. Just because his role is not useful. Like I understand that that's tough, like
no,
an emotional component, but and I agree, I love him, but Caballero does everything he does better. So for Cabrera's sake, he should really be hoping that Volpe sucks ass.
Yeah, that would hurt my heart, but yeah, I mean, if Volpe's good, there's literally nowhere for him because you have Dominguez as your fourth outfielder, unless you're starting him in AAA, which I don't think they do. I think that would probably be good for him, but I don't think they'd do that. So there's really no. I mean, you can't have him on as like a fifth outfielder. It really, especially when you already have. Like Ahmed Rosario is going to be taking reps at first base. You have JC Escarra for catcher. You have a suitable backup for every position. You can't just keep him on just because.
Yeah.
Or as like a vibes guy, as much as I would like that. That it is important. Kind of ripping through the depth pieces here. Ahmed Rosario will be taking reps at first base during spring training, according to the Yankees, which I think is great. I mean, that if like Ahmed Rosario can be your right-handed hitting first baseman backup, like you don't need to bring back Goldie. You could probably spend that money on maybe another reliever depth piece. Maybe you could trade for a more expensive reliever at the deadline.
Rosario was excellent last year as a Yankee and otherwise against lefties. I remember
Rosario is like one of the best pinch hitters ever.
Yeah. And we have a sports group chat with me, Ryan, and a couple of other friends. And our friend Jack, I remember, said, "What does Rosario even do?" And then he immediately got on base. And that's what he does. He gets on base. He mashes lefties. He doesn't play good defense, but he doesn't play horrific enough defense that I'm mad about it.
Yep.
On basically the opposite side, we have Ryan McMahon, who can't hit at all, but he plays excellent defense. And if we weren't paying him $20 million, I'd be super excited about Ryan McMahon. But since he's such a massive investment, I can't possibly believe that the Yankees would have traded for him if they didn't think he had offensive juice in the tank. There's no way they would trade for him just to be a defensive guy for $18 million a year.
I agree. And also, like, you hear stories of people who come out of the Rockies organization, and not only are they like, they take not using they take not using analytics to a completely different level. I remember seeing a Nolan Arenado quote that basically said that they lived in the Stone Age. Like, the people in that front office hate analytics. They don't want to use it. And so there's a good possibility that the Rockies were telling him to just straight up do the wrong thing. People don't realize, people, one, treat the Coors effect like it's a joke and this like made up thing. It's a serious thing. Balls move so much differently in Coors. We've talked about this before. Changeups look like fastballs. It's so easy. And then on the flip side of that, when you leave Coors and a changeup is dropping from the top of the zone to the bottom of the zone, that's a pitch you've never seen before. That's a pitch you don't have practice with. That's 80 games of practice against a pitch that's being taken away from you, essentially. And so, one, you're going to get consistency with Ryan McMahon and where he's playing. Number two, you're going to get him in a real organization. I think you're foolish to say that they can't get a 95 WRC plus out of him.
Yeah, I think it was
WRC
a
plus.
risky ad. And as of now, like, if he repeats what he did with the Yankees in 2025 and 2026, I think it was a bad trade.
Yeah.
Not because we gave up much to get him, just because you're paying him a lot and he is not hitting well enough to justify that.
Yeah.
But he's always had good exit velo numbers. Full year out of Coors could be different. I'm not out on Ryan McMahon at all. I just am cautiously, very, very cautiously optimistic about what we're going to get out of him.
I definitely think my expectations are a little high, and I'm probably setting myself up for some disappointment, but I feel like the Yankees have really found what works for them in terms of hitting development. Like, guys that swing the bat fast, hit the ball hard, and generally guys that take their walks. And because Ryan McMahon does have very good walk numbers, it's just his chase and whiff and everything else.
He just whiffs on everything.
Yeah. So they like guys that take their swings, you know, and Ryan McMahon does fit that archetype, and this is just getting worse. So we talked about Dominguez. Let's move on to the bullpen. We
didn't really talk about Dominguez. I think we should mention him.
Okay.
It's basically just going to be the Yankees clearly don't believe in him.
Mm-hmm.
If they believed in him, they would not have probably re-signed Bellinger. Like, they didn't play him much last year. I don't think he got like one at-bat in the playoffs when they were already losing. He got like a ninth inning at-bat in the fourth game of the Blue Jays series. Like, it was already over. He more or less did not play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They would have traded him if he had any value, so clearly he doesn't have any value. So other organizations aren't valuing him highly either. I don't know, obviously, what's going on behind the scenes. Like, there are smarter people than us who are making these decisions, for the most part. I would hope so. But would he go back to AAA? I haven't seen that being discussed. I think just maybe it would be good for him. I don't necessarily disagree that it'd be bad, but he can't play defense right now, which is kind of crazy. Like, how... Because when he came up, like, before he came up more so... I don't really remember that being something that people said about him.
No, and I feel like it definitely would have been brought up if, like, people knew it was as bad as it is. And I definitely, I mean, I never heard anything about that. I never heard anything about his defense, period.
Yeah. But hopefully, I mean, not hopefully, but Stanton will be out for some period of the year. He'll get DH reps. I'm sure he'll get outfield reps when people get rest days.
Yeah.
So... this is not like a make or break year for Dominguez. I think that he gets this year and next year to really see like who he is as a player. Like he came off Tommy John. Like he has a lot going on. So he gets let's see what he does this year. I'm not relying on him to do anything. I'm not expecting him to be great, but I'm also not expecting him to be turbo dog shit.
I think this is probably a good situation for Jason Dominguez either way. You know, if he goes back to AAA, he gets consistent at bats. If he stays in the majors, he's going to get at bats, but they're probably not going to be, you know, high pressure at bats. You know, he'll get high leverage at bats, but nobody's going to be counting on him in the long term of the season to be an elite or even very good hitter. I think it's kind of just going to be a figure it out kind of year. And maybe potentially they might just be banking on Trent leaving and putting him in center because, correct me if I'm wrong, that was his natural position in the minors,
he was the
right?
center fielder originally.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that's just it. I mean, maybe left field in Yankee Stadium is hard. Maybe they'll just put him in, like, this year's going to be his, all right, get your, kind of training wheels off. You'll have some reps where we need it. Next year is going to be your year. And next year they put him back out in center field and he's a much better defensively. Who knows?
Moving on to the bullpen now. We got, obviously, the main guys. You got Bednar, Doval, and Fernando Cruz. Bednar, is just great. There's not much to say there. His underlying numbers aren't incredible, but he has a great pitch mix. He's got that dog in him.
Yeah.
I don't think you're too concerned about it because I'm definitely not.
I'm not. I'm a little concerned about our pitchers in the World Baseball Classic, but...
Is he in the World Baseball Classic?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The Diaz thing was a freak injury. I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's more of just like a superstition thing, I guess. But I think it's fair to expect great things from David Bednar and from all three of them, frankly. I mean, we were just talking about this yesterday. Fernando Cruz has a great pitch to fall back on. His splitter is nasty, and I'm sure with another offseason in the lab, it's going to be even better. And Camilo Doval, really the only thing holding him back at this point is his walk issue. I mean, if he can bring down the walks just a little bit, he's going to be elite at the back end of the bullpen.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think that just kind of his
I love Camilo Doval. I'm going on Hopium.
I love Camilo Doval too, but even you've seen his delivery, he's really whipping that, and with such a complex delivery, I don't think he's ever going to become an above average location guy. But obviously, we both know he's nasty. His cutter is crazy. Throws it 100 million miles an hour.
Yeah.
Elite slider you mentioned there is above an 120 stuff plus. Great movement, weird arm angle. Overall, just a great player.
Yep.
The walks kind of lower his ceiling, but I think that when he's on, which for the most part in his career he has been, he'd be a great 8th inning guy. He'd be a great 9th inning guy. He was for the Giants for years. So I think that we can relatively reliably count on him to be an effective setup man, at least.
I agree.
They just got I'm assuming it's Angel Shivili. They got him from the Rockies, another guy from the Rockies with Jake Bird, who we mentioned on a couple of pods ago. Another great stuff, bad results guy. I wouldn't be that surprised if they start him in AAA.
Yeah.
With Jake Bird, clearly they got him and they put him down there to develop immediately. So he has a career 7 ERA in the majors. He's had no success in the majors.
He's also, he's 21.
Yeah. And that's in a small sample size. But I wouldn't be surprised if they just throw him down in the minors because he has all the tools to be an effective guy. Throws the fastball hard, doesn't have a ton of movement, but movement is the main thing that changes going from Coors to other places, so I'm not too concerned about that. ERA and Coors, let's be honest with ourselves. Small sample, Coors, everything else, I'm not concerned about that. And he gets a lot of whiffs. He looks nasty when he's on, so I don't know. I'm excited about him.
His hard hit, his batted ball data isn't great. He gives up hard contact, but it seems just looking at his Savant heat chart, it looks like he's throwing a lot of his pitches in the middle of the plate. So,
it's bad.
I mean, maybe just start, throwing them high or low so you can get pop-ups, ground balls, that kind of thing.
Just don't throw it down the middle.
Perhaps. I'm not a pitching coach. That's just my read on the situation.
You should be a pitching coach. But he gets a lot of ground balls, too.
Yes, he does. He does get a lot of ground balls. So.
And in Coors especially, that's impressive. I'm sure that'll only get better with a real organization behind him and in a real ballpark. The Yankees,
and not just a real one, a good,
excellent
pitching development. You're going from the worst to the best here. So he could. He could be an all-star. Who knows?
You never know. I think that the Yankees bullpen depth is looking good, not great. You have Bednar and Doval pretty much set up as your 9th and 8th inning guys. Cruz as the guy who comes in wherever he's needed to put out the fire with strikeouts. With that trio being like kind of set, I think that everyone else is just depth. You have Tim Hill as the lefty specialist. He's old. You never know. Like, Tim Hill could come in this year and just be awful. Like, his clock is ticking, but he doesn't throw hard. Like, he's not relying on velocity or anything. He throws weird. He's not getting any less weird with age. So you never know with Tim Hill. Like, I'm not going to say that he's going to be as elite as he has been, because Tim Hill has been amazing as a Yankee.
Tim Hill's been very underrated. Like, probably the most underrated Yankee of the last 2 years, I'd say.
I wouldn't necessarily argue with that. But if you look at his numbers in the past, like, he hasn't always been this good. Like, I remember before he came to the Yankees, he was on the Padres, and I followed this guy on TikTok. Shout out at Ha-Sung Kim Burner. But I don't think he's uploaded in a couple of years, but he would just post Tim Hill hate edits. Because he would come in and he would blow the game every day for them. So things with Tim Hill can be bad. I know we've had a good run, but anyway, we talked about Ryan Weathers. He can make it to the bullpen. You are so close to the camera, bro. Back.
Dude, if I sit back, I literally can't see. We just gotta wrap this up.
We are at the end here. We're also we seem to be losing our minds. The remaining market is not that interesting. It's basically just all right-handed hitters.
The remaining market's not good. I mean, I know I was the one who put this on the dock, and so I will come out and say that I was wrong. I don't want them to sign. So we have Ty France, Goldschmidt, and Austin Slater, and like the value that those guys provide, you can find on the roster already. And
they're all just like Ty France is good against lefties, but like, you know, whatever. We already have enough people that can hit lefties. We have that's Ahmed Rosario's whole job. He's literally just a worse version of Ahmed Rosario. Goldschmidt was genuinely awful against lefties going from June onward, and I understand that
be honest with the viewers.
He was getting unlucky, whatever, bro. He had a sub 700 OPS. Like, maybe he would have been like an 800
OPS was in like the 900s.
I don't give a fuck, bro. He's old as shit. I don't want him on my team. Just for the fact that he took so much time for Ben Rice last year. I don't hate him. He was a good Yankee. He was a perfectly acceptable Yankee. Do not pay him more money. Yeah. Promote somebody from internally. I don't care. Austin Slater, again, great expected numbers against lefties, but we don't really need a fifth outfielder at this point.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think we can kind of wrap it up here. I'm gonna ask you one more question. Mm-hmm. Going into the year, stay the roster. Offense 1 through 10. How excited and how confident are you?
Offense. 10.
What about pitching? Including the bullpen here.
6.
Yeah, I'd probably say about a 9 and a 7.
Yeah.
So the point is, pitching is kind of up in the air. Could be really good. Could be incredible.
That was my thing. Like, it could be what was promised, and it could not be.
Yeah. Things could happen or things could not happen. That is our breaking analysis of this episode.
That's what we're naming this episode.
And in all seriousness, Yankees are in a decent spot. I think they're comfortably in the top of the AL East with the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. I think that the Blue Jays are about equivalent. They have good pitching. I think they're kind of fake. I think Springer's going to be bad. We're going to make a whole series of episodes on the other AL East teams.
Yeah.
Those will be coming out during spring training, so keep an eye out for that. But until then, unless something crazy changes, I think we'll see you basically right around when spring training starts, probably when pitchers and catchers start reporting.
Yeah, actually, I think right around that same day. But the last thing I want to say, and I will leave you with this parting message. Regardless of how you feel about this Yankees team, the Yankees love it. Aaron Boone was on WFAN talking about how, like, he was saying this all at the end of last year. This is like his favorite team that he's managed. He was on WFAN like yesterday saying the same thing. He's excited everybody's back. Brian Cashman has been combative with media reporters saying that this is a good team. The Yankees front office likes this team, and it's time to figure out if they're right.
Yeah. I don't really think this is a referendum on Cashman. Like, if the Yankees miss the playoffs this year, I think his job is permanent at this point. I think we just have to accept that as Yankee fans.
Yeah,
but
they're not firing Cashman ever.
Clearly, like, they get paid a shit ton of money to make this baseball team good. They believe in it. I don't think they're bullshitting. I think if you watch the interviews, they seem pretty genuine that this team they believe in. Let's hope that they're right. That's all you can really hope for.
I think they're right.
So we'll be seeing you soon, hopefully. Yep. I doubt that anything big will happen, but if there is some crazy thing that happens, you'll see us sooner.
Scribble and Skeens are Yankees tomorrow.
Yankees right now. But remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Go follow us on TikTok and Twitter. Go follow Ryan and I's personal Twitters. If you just go to the pod account, we post all the time on there. So thanks everybody for listening. It's been a pretty long episode. I think we got through a lot of good stuff today. Anything else, Ryan?
No, I agree on all fronts. Just make sure you like, subscribe, comment, retweet, repost, whatever.
We were a little delusional today. We were a little silly. Bit. So that's just because we're getting afraid. We're getting afraid of what's to come.
It's about that time. The Super Bowl's coming up.
Go Seahawks.
It's real. Oh yeah. Go Seahawks.
JSN. Anyway, we'll talk to you later.
All right. Peace and love.